Schmoedown Rockers. Schmoedown Rocks. This week we have Ildberries versus Founding Fathers. And Evil Geniuses' first match together since the stipulation match. Post-Anarchy versus Superhero News. That kind of was interesting for other reasons. The last one was interesting for certain kinds of reasons, but not so much the match itself, as opposed to the actual match we did get between Ildberries and Founding Fathers. And that kind of making things somewhat interesting now. Also, things with Makuga. I think the bigger thing is some people are actually thinking that Makuga will win against Oyama. Basically, the stipulation match is that Makuga basically did something stupid during the match. Or I don't blame him losing his shit. I do think he did kind of go to the point of understanding what led to it, but the thing that he chose to do wasn't the best thing to do. Good shot of... To think they have a shot of energy drink, these guys. But anyway. No sponsorship on that. But also, if I didn't say something in last week's thing, this also Monday was announcing the whole thing with addressing what happened in Chicago. And that she is suspended for a month. She will not be able to participate as a manager for Snyder in the match. Be able to go out with Snyder as a manager up against Mark Riley. And if Riley happens to win, she will wind up being suspended an extra month for it. Adding a stipulation, making that match even more interesting than before. And a nice little, also, sort of a prep-up, not only for the Odd Couple Shire Wolves match, and how things will play out for that, but also for the fact that but also for how things might, in a way, build up and add a little extra something within an Odd Couple versus Who's the Boss kind of rivalry type of a way. And I guess it's fair, but at the same time, this makes what happened with Makuga's situation, which I think is far more of a violation than whatever she did to Ben, happen, and how they're handling that one. Especially given what happened with Guy, even though what was happening with Guy was that he was going to get suspended for an entire year. Which is why it's going to really upset me if for some reason Ben loses at Houston. I don't think it'll happen. But I'm not counting out the fact that Guy might try to pull something and try to get into Ben's head even more with mind games. Not that he hasn't already done that already. But and done pretty well, I guess, in it. But I'm just hoping Ben can overcome it and finally put out a win this year that he desperately needs to have. And if it doesn't happen, then it really is going to be and then it's just going to be just as depressing as what happened in Chicago. And I cannot. Guy, you're a good heel, but you're a goat. GH with an H, by the way. For sure. You've proven that. But, man, and any other time I'd root for you, but given the circumstances and what needs to happen in order for me, just as somewhat of an action fan myself, I need Ben to win. I need Ben to win. And plus this Action Civil War thing, storyline can't end with that loss. So for now, Guy, up until that, well, depending on other circumstances, Guy, you have me, and depending on who you wind up facing, of course, you have my attention, except for the Ben situation. Ben has got my vote on this one. Usually, I would be a little little on the both is good type thing, but I can't, for this purpose, I cannot have that with stipulations the way they are. I have to have Ben be the one to win it, and I am gonna, and also I would, if that, and of course, with that being the case, I would love to see what happens with that. Because at least one, between that and what happened with what led to Evil Geniuses happening with that stipulation match, which was good, but I preferred this. And the Founding Fathers Double Toasted thing is going to be escalated a little bit more now, thanks to what happened with the Ildberries matchup. Hopefully leading into the potential of Schmoedown Collision, as it is apparently now going to be called. It's no longer Collider Collision. So, even though Collider Collision has more of a ring to it, but still works, I guess. You can only do so much, I guess, with that. So the Schmoedown Collision, I guess they might do it in a live streaming, planning on trying to do it live streaming type of way, similar to what they did with the Schmoedown Throwdown, is what I'm guessing they're going to do. Maybe they might do the same thing for the Spectacular. I'm not sure in terms of live streaming things, because I think a lot of the ones that are pay-per-view-ish they're gonna definitely bring that about as such. Even though personally to me, that's why it pays to be a Patreon, so you don't have to worry about that, and you can just get the link to it to see it, and not have to pay to see it through Eventbrite's streaming, and stream it through Eventbrite. It's events stuff. So yeah, it pays to be a good patron in that regard. I guarantee you, paying 10 or more works in that regard. And plus, I'm happy to have collector's prints, even though I'm going to have to take advantage of it for this week. I may not be able to fully next week. I probably might be able to by Wednesday, though, but by next Wednesday because of certain situations. So I'm probably going to let Emma know through a message through Patreon. But anyway, speaking of Emma, she had to do what she had to do with dealing with Makuga's thing, and for 2 rounds they were Ildberries, which was a Collider Live kind of joke for a while that kind of came to truth, and I kind of liked it. Some people felt I don't know why Nico felt underwhelmed, my fellow dungeon head and member of D2A, but I liked it. Surprisingly, I kind of liked it. And the only way I kind of liked it, I was still a little leery, but I was hoping it would somewhat pay off if they actually pulled up a good enough fight. And they did. And then it went to shit immediately when they became the Ildberries, which was funny, but that's all it was. And it probably would have been, and I felt that was wasted. That cool moment was wasted because they started fucking up on round 3. And Makuga could have had it had he just, not sucked a freaking Chardonnay out of a straw. And in turn, I understood what led to the whole thing with with him losing his shit when it came to that question, because he had it, and then said the wrong thing, probably because freaking Dewberry confused his ass. And just, you shouldn't have done that to the belt, man. You did deserve it, but I think you deserved a far greater punishment, because as far as I'm concerned, you should... I can't believe I'm saying this, but he should have got just as much of a punishment as Harloff was originally going to give Guy. He should have. Because, he's tackled twice. Well, he's done a tackle twice, and was willing the second time to give him a year. Instead, he got a month because Ben wanted to fight him. He figured that was the best way to handle it, and it didn't really go over well for Ben. And it hasn't paid off yet, and it seems hopefully it'll pay off at Houston, but... And so, as far as I'm concerned, I think it was more generous. Hell, it's made, and so far it seems the whole commissionership, the land of commissioners is not going over so well between Emma and the sort of lace-delic thing that's happening with, that was seemed to happen from the post-credit thing. And I don't know, as far as the whole thing with Zipper and what happened with World's Finest, I don't know what's going to happen with that. I do have this weird feeling, this very weird feeling. I don't know if it's actually going to amount to anything, but given what happened with Evil Geniuses versus Superhero News, and what happened to Superhero News and their quiet little divorce, yeah, Superhero News is no more. I have two things. One, maybe Superhero News will return once again as a third incarnation somehow, and maybe one of the members of the recent incarnation partners with one of the older reincarnations, and maybe they become Superhero News, a newer, stronger Superhero News, like maybe Sean Gerber, or maybe with Dave Navarro, or even Adam Hlavik, or maybe the possibility that one of the guys from, and then maybe Sabina, Sean Gerber, Sabina might partner with one of them, or there's also a possibility that what happened with World's Finest, maybe, just maybe, Zipper could figure out something and, you know, maybe work out something with one of them, but maybe that won't happen, you know? Who knows at this point? I'm wondering if maybe the members of World's Finest might come together. What was of World's Finest and what was of Superhero News might come together as well as teams themselves. Because I don't know about World's Finest actually working it out. I'd be surprised if it does. But I don't think, what's his face is going to take Zipper back. Why am I blanking on his name? I apologize, dude. I don't see enough in the Schmoedown to really, for it to, and it's been months since the World's Finest match. Even though I did like your exhibition match with Jay. Why am I blanking? I feel so awful for you, man. Forgive me, dude. It'll come to me eventually and I'll say it, but anyway, I kind of, Evil Geniuses, they're just that good of a team. It seems the dynamic has changed a bit to where JT's trying to kind of like, it's clear him and Lon are great teammates when it comes to doing the trivia itself. In terms of the sort of personality dynamic, and it's pretty clear that he's still playing middleman between his brother and JTE at this point. But I love how he's calling him Jete. That's so wonderful. A good callback to the old Schmoes No Show. I love it. Jete. especially just to add the more, you know, finer things type of, that sort of, certain particular personality, and that's word I'm thinking of that I can't say out loud and blurt. I'm having my JTE moment, or JT moment, I would say, at this point. But it's nice to see that their team up has gone over really well, and they're wanting a gun for Odd Couple, just to prove that he can hang with the best of them too. And it's pretty clear that when the Harris brothers had fought them, they beat them, and it's pretty clear maybe JT and them can as well. And I do like it's pretty clear that he's knows not to underestimate Andraco as a competitor, especially after what happened at the live event and him having that perfect round. Yeah, I wouldn't underestimate him either, dude. Even though JT and Snyder have been in a faction with Andraco at one point. So they have that going for it. He has that kind of portion of things going for him to where he has partnered with Snyder, so he knows how to, and has beaten Snyder himself. So he has that one up already. So that's already makes that matchup even more interesting, depending on whether or not if our couple beats, whether or not it probably they beat Charbels doesn't matter when it comes to that. I still would like to see how that would play out for storyline purposes. The whole thing with Zipper, I kind of don't feel bad for Zipper. You know, he kind of had a heel turn, and then all of a sudden you kind of want us to go back and believe we can buy into his face turn, like his turn back to face. It's a bit of a whiplash, and you don't really feel for him because it's like we've already known how Grace is. And this further makes Kalinowski even more far. If there was ever a heelish moment that comes off more sadistic on Mike's end, this was that moment that he needed to have, I guess. But that was more on Grace's end. He had nothing to do with it. And the fact that he believed that bullshit from Grace, I can't feel bad for you, dude. And I'm not going to feel bad for you if what's your old partner, that's name I'm forgetting for some stupid reason, isn't going to take you back, then I don't blame him. Though good luck finding another partner after what you did. Good luck finding another partner if you're going to even get one. Be lucky if Sean Gerber or Sabina takes you. Or Sabina or whatever. Graves takes you. Takes you under their wing or something. Good luck with that. Though I wouldn't be surprised if him and Gerber happens, especially given what I'm about to talk about. So for those of you, spoilers on an exhibition match, if you're a Patreon who hasn't gotten to see it yet, and it's probably going to come out in a couple more weeks, I have to talk about it because Endgame had recently happened, so we may as well talk about it then. And that's the NCMU match. 3, 2, 1. Especially given that it's a bummer as a Smets fan, but I'd also say it's a bummer for a Shirewoods or Cushing fan, I guess. But to me, if there was ever a loss that felt like that, between what happened with him at Free For All, which was a bigger bummer for me than what happened here, because at least here he had something going for him, even if he did lose. He at least got to tie with Callan, a former champ, and got to knock out, or at least eliminate the current IG champ. If there's ever in a primarily MCU match, and he had a screw up, that he's got to make sure he has none of those. He's showed he has flaws and a chink in the armor, and he needs to work on those and make sure that he doesn't showcase that between what happened to Free For All and here in this exhibition match, going into his next match with Navarro. He can't have that. He whatever he's shown already in the past 2 matches, he needs to show against Navarro, or at least he needs to make sure he puts that up against Navarro. He can't have those cheeks in the armor, Smets. Please do not do that. Do not do, or at least show that you are still a worthy enough competitor, even if you do lose. Showcase that you're an even stronger competitor than what you were, and had a game that's even better than what you had at this exhibition. And I do like the Stark Enterprises. It wasn't a very good the Navarro. I'm looking forward to the hoodie for the Navarro, though. I'll tell you that if you're watching this, Smets. But and Nico, possibly anyone else. I'd like to be a guest. Nico, if you're watching this, please. I would like to be a guest. And also, Sean Gerber had a perfect game in this. He knows his MCU. Like, basically in the sense of how Damon is and is with Star Wars, and how Damon and Ken and Whitwer are with Star Wars. More so Whitwer and Damon, it seems, because he had and he pulled what Bibiani did in the number 1 contenders match recently, and how far he went in a free for all type of an ordeal. Gerber did. Zipper called it during that match for sure. Makes me wonder if Zipper's going to take him, if Zipper and Gerber might become a team, and a formidable one. Though I don't understand how, because of that. Though I do wonder if maybe Gerber and Smets should be a team. Or, you know what, Smets, I'd like to know if you want to be, if you're not Stacy's partner, would you be willing to team with Gerber, especially after what happened in that MCU match? Or would you prefer Sabina? I don't know. I'm just curious. Like, just let me know, Smets. Also, Nico Regali. Nico Suave Regali. I want to be a guest. I'm talking to you because you're a fellow dungeon head, more so than Smets, and then more so than I don't know why I'm saying Smets. That's because he is the dungeon head between him and Kaiser. But anyway. Anyway. Here's the thing, guys. I want to be, eventually, I'd like to make an appearance on D2A. Maybe build the Schmoedown Rocks a little further along, in a way, this way. Even if I'm not able to do much with what I can give you guys. So, but, I mean, so it was more surprising because Cushion went out first. Because all the guys we were thinking would have a chance instead of Gerber proved us all wrong, and I was happy with that thing. But anyway, with the D2A thing, I'm going back and forth. I'm sorry. I tend to do this a lot. But yes, please. I'd like to go on D2A. I might say something in the messages later. But if you see it this way first, I'm serious. I'd like to be a guest. I don't know when I'm going to be able to pull this out and be able to do this. But I'd like to. And, or at least for like Who Cares Anyway podcast, I don't know what I could add to it, other than it's probably going to be like a Schmoedown theme or a music thing again. Maybe or maybe talking to Endgame, because I have seen it. I don't know if all of y'all have seen it, so, but I'd like to, maybe be a guest that way and maybe talk a little more on that. Maybe talk a bit more about a little bit on Schmoedown Rocks itself and my origins with it. I don't know. We'll see what it happens. Just I'll message either you or Doman. Case barely much anything. Ivanka's a sweetheart if she wants to get involved in this. Or I think I said her name right. If not, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. You're such a sweetheart. Case is lucky dude. Even though I sometimes wind up calling him Keys, and I'm sorry if I do, but it may be a tendency. But just so you know, it could be if it does happen, it probably might turn into a shit show, depending on how much caffeine I have before that. Anyway, what did you guys think of the matches? What did you think of the stipulation going in? And also, I forgot to mention, Sam finally retorted back from what happened in the post scene from the Ildberries match, Ildberries Founding Fathers match, pre the Evil Geniuses thing, and that is that Makuga suspension could be done. However, he has to beat Oyama to do so. If not, he has to add an extra month to his suspension. So he goes from 2 to 3 months, which is still understandable. Which, I mean, at least that stipulation works. But if somehow Makuga does win it, yeah, that's really gonna put things between Emma and Levine really in the whole commissioner thing, and make that whole issue really add some intensity into that. If not for that storyline, but if not, then it's gonna. But it could still. Maybe it'll still happen regardless, but we'll see. We'll see how they do with the storyline on that, but I don't like the idea of them doing that with Emma. Personally, trying to but anyway, that's unnecessary. Sam is apparently from what I've heard from Robert of Late to the Party, he's, through his reaction to that matchup, he's basically said that it's, yeah, when it comes to that whole situation, I do agree with him on how Sam is actually, reality, he really does care, and is actually there when it comes to dealing with the Schmoedown, even though it's just the storyline says otherwise. So it's just nice to see him. It also kind of bums me out because I like both of them, and I like the fact we both share all 3 of us share a birthday. Yay! At least Commissioner's Day is a day I can celebrate with them. Anyway, and hopefully we'll still be able to, depending on how things go this season. with that. Fingers crossed. Anyway, what do y'all think about the matches this week? What are my thoughts on it? Comment below. Let me know. If you like this video, rock that like button with thrust if you must. Please hit that subscribe button. As always, guys, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking. If you smell what the movie trivia Schmoedown and Schmoedown rocks.